So I just left Gary Collins' place, had a couple hours with him, and I messaged Mike Gallaway and said, hey, I know this is last minute. What if I come out your way and do an interview with you tomorrow? And he said yes. So we're still going to keep going in the wrong direction. So now we've got another almost 5 hours going into Kansas. So let's go find Mike Gallaway. All right, so today we are with legendary pulling announcer Mike Gallaway, and he's graciously given us some time today, and he's going to tell us a bunch of stories. And let's see, so I want to know, well, like, did you grow up in this area? Like, basically, you can tell us your whole life story. Like, you grew up here, and then how did you get into broadcasting, and just let
it from the go. Well, I was born.
Well, that's good.
That's kind of neat. In Oklahoma. I always lived in Oklahoma, and I found out later when I was pulling and traveling the country, it's the best place to live.
You were pulling?
No, I announced pulling.
I know. Okay.
I didn't pull. I did drive a couple of tractors.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Long time ago. Moby Dick was a guppy. Okay, so, and I grew up in Oklahoma, but later found out it was good because it's like 3 hours to the west coast and 2.5 hours to the east coast, and it's pretty centrally located. Mm-hmm. Graduated from high school in a little place just to the east of where we're sitting right now in 1965. Was not a Rhodes Scholar by any means. Had a car crash, and probably winter of 65. I knew a date.
Ooh.
That's a guess. And crippled me up pretty bad, and got over that, and got a scholarship kind of thing to go to Dallas and learn radio. And so it's a big, long course, took 6 weeks. And then when you was in radio at that time, there was 3 different licenses, and you had to have a 3rd class with a broadcast endorsement to talk, and the rest of it was engineering. And I'm not an engineer, so I got my broadcasting and came home and worked as a page for a radio station or for a television station in Oklahoma City, and did some radio. I was Michael Judge. I tried driving your way home this evening, holding court on a fine Friday.
You can still do it.
And then I got out of it and went to work in construction, whatever it took to make a living. Mm-hmm. Went to the farm show in Oklahoma City one time. Came off the farm, and I'm walking through the farm show, and they start this blower motor. And I thought, wow, that's kind of neat. I went over to grandstands, and they had a deal called a tractor pull. Never heard of it.
Okay.
But they had blower motors.
Yep.
Gary Sporhays and Carl Sneller out of Holyoke, Colorado, were there with a tractor called the Sting. And that kind of hooked me.
A single engine?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but at that time, that was bad.
Okay.
It had the blower motor on it and all the good parts, and that's pretty Western.
Yeah.
And I kind of called around and found that there was an Oklahoma tractor pullers loose knit group, and I started watching that. I took a lot of pictures, and sold them. Didn't keep them. Wished I had a. If I was known I was making history, I would have taken a lot more pictures.
Yeah.
And we were in Elk City, Oklahoma, at a pool one time, and the show was over. And stayed at a Holiday Inn, and the announcer for the event was all sitting around a table having some beverages, and he said, well, they flew me to Louisville, Kentucky to announce.
For the farm show?
Yeah, and I thought, flew you?
Really?
Wow, that'd be kind of neat. The guy was sitting next to me, and I said, I can do that. He said, well, I got a poll coming up in 2 weeks. You announce it? Yeah, I announce it. Make no difference.
Never done it before.
No, had no idea.
No idea. Okay.
So I went to the pool, and before the pool started, I went out in the parking lot and puked my guts up.
Because you're nervous?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Did the show. Went good. Went out in the parking lot, puked the rest of the guts up.
Oh, boy.
Starting to leave, and the guy said, hey, I'm doing a show down the road in this town in a week. Can you announce? Yeah, I can announce, you bet. How much? Oh, I don't know. I never thought about money.
Did you get paid on the first one?
No, it was just to do it.
Was it on TV too?
No.
Okay.
It was just
announcing.
Just an old brush pull.
Okay.
Well, it's $50 a show. That's $100. I'll take it.
Nice.
So we went and did the show. And for the show, I puked my guts up. Show was over, and I puked my guts up.
Really?
He paid me my $100. So I went and spent probably $15 and had business cards made.
Okay.
Said I was an announcer.
Because you've done it twice now, right?
Well, I am one.
You are.
So some of my pulling friends went to Shreveport, Louisiana. Those three had tractors. Mm-hmm. You want to go, Gallaway? Yeah, I want to go. So we go down to Shreveport. Red River Tractor Pullers. They were out of La Mesa, Texas.
Okay.
Was putting the show on. And the announcer had just called and said he couldn't make it.
No way.
Yeah. So one of my friends said, well, that guy right there is an announcer. He said, came up to me and said, you an announcer? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm an announcer. Here's my card.
You were? Oh.
Here's my card. I'm an announcer. He said, well, how much do you charge to do a show? $100 a show.
Perfect.
Went up a little bit.
Double it.
Oh, we can't afford that. Oh, that's fine. I'm good with it. Got the tractors weighted up. Like,
Yeah.
guy came around and said, we'll pay. I said, okay. So I took off and went across the stands and walked up in the booth and looked it all over and said, just a minute. Went to the bathroom, puked my guts up, come back out, sat down and did shows for them.
What made him change his mind on paying you?
They found the money.
Oh, okay. They wanted an announcer.
They had to have an announcer.
Yeah.
It was a big, nice show.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be there.
Right. So that's your really big break. Probably.
Probably because I worked a lot with the guys from the West Texas, from tractor pullers out there in La Mesa, and they were the hot setup. You know, they had a lot of tractors follow them, and good tractors, nice tractors. And after that, it just
Here we go.
stay on the telephone and go places.
And you were doing construction at this time?
I worked every day, and then did shows on weekends, and then come back and went to work on them. That never stopped.
How did you get more shows? Was it just word of mouth that people?
Just word of mouth.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing else. Never advertised.
Really?
When I went to work for SRO, and you didn't work for SRO. Everyone was contract labor.
Okay.
But I met Bob, George, and Tony in Oklahoma City, and I went up and shook. I still tell you this today. I said, "I'm Mike Gallaway. I'm the best there is." He looked at me kind of funny, and he said, "Well, I thought I was the best there is."
Oh boy.
Bob was an announcer.
Oh, he was, okay.
I said, "Well, you were wrong." He said, "Well, you want to work, kid?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I want to hear what you got for me." He said, "Stick around. You can announce tonight." So, probably just one class.
He's going to test you.
Yeah.
How old were you about this time?
I have no idea.
Okay. 20s maybe?
Yeah, 20s.
Okay.
20-something, late 20s.
Late 20s, that's good.
Yeah. So I just went up, sat down, didn't throw up.
Ooh.
Bob did the first class. He said, "I'm gonna let you do. This is all trucks. They didn't do any tractors at that time. I'm gonna let you do this next class and see how you do." I said, "Okay." So I just took the microphone and went to work.
Hi again, everybody. I'm Ken Brew. My partner is Mike Gallaway, and we've got pulling left to right tonight all over the dial, including some pretty fair two-wheel drive and monster truck competition.
Well, it's the end of the year. This is the final hook of the season. The Ford Budweiser Points Championship's on the line, and Ken, they're going to take out all the stops. It's just going to be go for broke tonight.
Let's talk about some of the competitors we'll see tonight, Mike, particularly the two-wheel drives that we really haven't gotten a chance to see too much this year.
Rice Burner is going into this leading the competition. Looks like he may win it. We'll have to wait till the night's competition is over with to find out for sure, though.
We have the Steel City Shaker, an orange flash, guaranteed to rough up your evening. This is Bob Zundel, New Alexandria, PA, in the 86 Chevy S10, and a relatively modest 482 Chevy through the hood.
Boy, they have really done a lot of work on this truck. He's got good ground speed. He's a little bit nose heavy. Let's see if he can get out. He's going to get down close.
Real close. Now, Mike, he had a smaller engine, 482. If perhaps it was up in the 500s, might he have gone through the door?
That's a good chance, Ken Brew, but, you know, in this class, doesn't always mean cubic inch wins. He could have got it out that time. I think it was a little nose heavy. You didn't see that truck jump up in the air like you've seen so many of them before, but it was a good job on the truck for Bob Zundel.
And you didn't know any of the drivers?
Never seen them. Had a sheet.
No names of the...
Tell by looking at them.
No sheet? No names, no nothing? Of the trucks or drivers?
Just run.
Oh,
Yeah.
Man. Wow.
Pulled about 3 trucks, and Bob got up and walked off. I didn't see him till the show was over with.
Really?
We settled up, and he said, "You got a car?" "Yeah, I got a car. I always got a car." Then less than a month later, they called me to go to Wichita, Kansas. And I was still working for everybody and anybody in the country. And went to Wichita, Kansas and worked for them. And Evansville was in there pretty early. Evansville, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just go.
Just go.
Yeah. I probably worked in all 48 states in the continental United States, all over Canada. That's not bad for a kid to just stumble in off the street.
It's amazing.
It really is.
That's a great...
It even shocked me. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, and then the TV started coming around after that, the TV deal?
The TV deal was kind of neat. I was outside painting my house on the outside. Mm-hmm. But the kitchen window was open and you could hear the phone. That's when I could still hear. And so the phone rings, and I jump down off the ladder, and honest to gosh, I have on an old white shirt with paint all over it, and cutoffs, and looked like death eating a donut. And I know I'm just talking on the phone. And this guy said, "It's Tom Barton." I said, "Mr. Barton." He said, "We're going to do a poll on television and think you might be interested." And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to do that." "You think you can do that?" And I said, "Well, there's no doubt I can do that. It's not a problem." And he said, "Well, here's the date. It's at Three Rivers Stadium in Cincinnati." And I said, "I can't do that. I've got a show. And if I tell you that I'm going to be there, then you'll either get a death notice or I will be there.
Right.
There's no in between."
Yep.
And I told him, I said, "I'm working." And he never said who the show was for, just that they were doing a show. And he said, I'll take care of that."
Wow.
"Oh, fine with me."
Okay.
So we settled on a price, and told me who to call, and they arranged everything. And that was, at that time, that was through Anheuser-Busch.
The SRO shows.
SRO shows.
Yeah.
Anheuser-Busch, when the Bush people owned it, had their own production company called Bud Sports.
Okay.
And they produced horse jumping and women's golf and truck and tractor pulls and monster trucks. And kind of hearsay, and you can't write this down as the gospel, but ESPN got ready to go on the air, and they were short a few $1 million. And they went to Budweiser, and Budweiser said, "We'll loan you the money, but part of the contract is we have first right of refusal on any alcohol advertising." And that's why we were on ESPN. And it was a young puppy then. The first time that we beat NHL hockey, rating-wise, was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah, when you got truck and tractor pulling beating hockey, well, it was a big deal then.
I remember the stands just being packed.
Thousands and thousands.
Packed. Like you were at the Super Bowl.
40,000 people was not a big deal.
It was unbelievable.
You just walked in and did it.
I got a younger guy that I'm showing him the videos from the 80s, and he's like, "Look at the people in the stands. He can't even." I'm like, "That's how it used to be. You don't understand how big this was." It was massive.
I didn't either. 40,000 people there, or 20,000 people there, or 15,000 people. This is all the same.
Mm-hmm.
It never entered my mind that there was a lot of people. I just making them laugh and have a good time, informing them of what's going on.
Tell you what, that wasn't the last one Bill won, and he has really been the man to beat in this class. 3 brand new 572 cubic inch supercharged Hemi Aries engines. Mega dollars in motors, and you can see why when you see the dirt slinger hooked to the sled. A very appropriate name in the dirt slinger for Bill. He runs 30.5, 32 tires. There's a shot of the 3 Aries engines. The 2 motors on the bottom are hooked crankshaft to crankshaft. The motor setting up top has its own clutch, so there's 2 clutches, 3 motors. They'll all come in simultaneously. And tell you what, when it does that, he will shake the rafters and rattle the ground with dirt slinger. Bill is a farmer.
Take a look at 3 inches. Is there a limit of how many engines you can put on these?
Only a limit on the weight and the tire size. 7,200 pounds maximum, 30.5, 32 tires. Now, Bill has very little tread on the rear tires. He wants to spin them real hard. Doesn't want to pile a lot of dirt up in front of the sled, and that's why the lug is cut down the way it is. Watch this man thunder the roof, and here comes Bill.
for the Dirt Slinger and Bill Leishner. That brings the crowd at the Civic Arena to its feet.
Not only a full pull, Bill had the balance right, the power was there, a beautiful job. I tell you what, that guy is really super tough. He is leading in the race for the championship.
Was that your main goal, was to make people laugh?
I wanted, and still to this day, I want you, if you come to a show that I'm announcing, when you leave, you should look at your spouse and say, well, I am tired.
From laughing?
Cheering and laughing and watching. I'm just exhausted. That was always been my goal.
Okay.
Wear them out.
I love that.
Torsion bars, shocks on each one of them. Doug Russell built the wheels. Look at this. It's going to be a race. Bigfoot has covered him out of the hose. The man was asleep on the line, but he caught up in a hurry. And now they're side by side as they make the turn. Watch it. The Beast may be in the lead. The Beast may have it. Chandler's got the lead, but Chandler's got to make a turn. Chandler's down the chute. It's head-to-head competition, side by side. Chandler, can he pull it off? Can he pull it off? Oh, man. He does. Whoa. He does.
Mike, this was a race the Beast could have won, but around that last turn, he seemed to stall.
Something went wrong with that vehicle. I saw him glancing back over his shoulder into the engine compartment, and something went astray.
When you're in Anaheim Stadium, now this is when, and this was later on, I don't know when, but it's full. That's a big place.
Oh, yeah.
And you say, let's do the wave. Start down here on the left-hand side and come all the way around. And they did it. And there's just a multitude of people standing up and raising their hands and just like, oh my God.
And you did that. It's like, whoa.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, it amazed me.
Oh, man.
Of course, a lot of things amaze me, you know. Shirt buttons do the same thing to me.
How long did you do radio for?
I don't know.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
Oh, a couple.
Yeah.
Was that like a half-hour show or something? Or
No, it was afternoon drive. Started at 3 and ran to 6.
So you would talk over songs and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff? Okay.
I was a country jock before country was even country.
All right, yeah. I know that song. So you seem to know an awful lot about the trucks and the drivers, like technically. Did you work on cars, or were you a drag racer, or how did you know so
went to my
much
first
about?
drag race in 1958,
Okay.
1957.
Did you work on cars?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Because you knew more than all these other announcers. You knew.
It was my life.
Oh, okay. So we're missing a big part here then.
Right after the Korean War, which is around 1954, my uncle, and I attribute all of this to this one incident, took me from my mom and dad's house to my grandmother's house. And we fell off. Rob and I had a bathtub Nash. You probably don't know what that is, but somebody can look
It's
it
like
up.
an upside down
bathtub.
Yep. Nice.
And I'm standing there looking out. You know, you don't sit. You're standing there and looking out the windshield.
The
And
seatbelts.
my Uncle Leo said, come look at this. You're doing 100 miles an hour. Fell off this old hill. At the bottom of it, the Nash had run 100.
Oh,
That's it for me.
that was good. Huh?
Yeah. And this car's read everything I could get my hands on
Okay. All right.
about cars. Everything.
What kind of cars did you have? What was your first car?
First car was a 55 Ford 2-door sedan, piece of, wasn't lovely. Oh, I had a lot of cars. I had a 55 Nomad
Okay.
that I brought home in pieces. But it was just my life. You know, I still love cars to this day.
Okay.
Never owned a real nice car.
But you worked on them a lot.
Yeah.
So did you tear engines down and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
see, that's why that makes sense now, because when you're talking to these guys, or you would watch something happen, and say like, you know, a piston would blow or something, you knew
I got a pretty good
what
idea.
happened.
He
None of
broke
these
them.
other guys did. It's like they brought these other guys in from selling shoes or something. They
We had
didn't
one
know-
guy that announced one time for us that did motorcycles, and another guy was really a car salesman. But yeah, if it, you know, if you're puking fuel out of one cylinder and you see it, the plug's gone bad. You've oiled it down or broke a rock arm or something because it's not firing.
Right. And you saw that
Sure.
when nobody else did because you knew about it. So
Sure.
that was a huge help for us as kids.
Never thought about it, but yeah, I mean, it was just part of life. You could tell what was wrong.
But he doesn't have what it takes to catch the Kool-Aid Kid.
They could have some problems. Those are vent tubes that run back, and if you'll see there right in front of the right front tire, he had a lot of oil come out that blow-by, and there's the steam that's coming out of it now. But when that truck quit, we'll see it on the replay, that there was a lot of oil came out of that particular side of the engine. So
What would cause it?
well, it
Mike?
could be a broken ring or something inside of it that's pumping that oil up on it. And
He started real nice.
well, it looked extremely good. It really did. Let's watch Kenneth go down the track, and his crew standing down at the end of the track watching him as he went down. Front end comes up, it comes back down. He drifts over to the left a little bit. That hurts him a little bit because he may touch the brakes. But watch this right behind this front tire on this side. You're going to see a little bit of it coming out right there. Quite a bit of it's coming out. And when it settles down, you're going to see right there behind the front tire, you'll see a lot of oil. See that coming out of it and kind of blowing out the side of it. Not a good sign for Kenneth, but hopefully everything will be all right on it.
There you see the remnants on the track. Game try by the Oklahoma Warrior, but it will not be good enough tonight.
Aero Max 9000 Ford heavy truck. Watch the Bud Boss cooking. Look out, he's on his way.
Whoa! Oh, man. I tell you, the sled driver was hanging on for all of his life, too.
Oh boy, did he make the turn as he headed to the tunnel? Gary Collins and Ken, no doubt a full pull, but I hope we can see this on replay. You're going to see something truly amazing.
It looked like
Watch-
he had a plane to catch.
Watch Gary Collins. If you could see the flags on the back of his truck. He leaves with the sled boy. He is on his way and really hooked up. It's flying. Look at the flags. They've turned around backwards. That is the aerodynamics. The flags are actually what should be flying the other direction. But see how they're sticking out there? Well, the wind coming over the top of it turns the flags around. That just goes to show you how aerodynamic that is. Look at the flags going the wrong direction. There is the Budweiser boss, Gary Collins. Could make a world of difference. Let's see if all the work pays off. Here we go. Oh, it's bouncing again. It's smoking and it's bouncing. Kenny broke the rear end on it. He snapped the rear axle. I saw it somewhere between 75 and 100 feet. You're going to see the truck. We get to watch it on replay. You're going to see the rear end snap. Looks like the tire stopped momentarily in midair. The left rear tire at that time quit pulling. Now watch the rear tires. I don't know whether we break an axle but right in here is where the problem erupts on the left-hand side. There,
Yep.
right at that instant, you're seeing something turn loose in the back of the truck. The tire's still going, but there's no, there's dirt, but he does have dirt on the right side. The left rear axle, he snapped the left rear axle on that truck. The left rear tire absolutely stopped in midair.
A guy had a pulling tractor, and I built a big block Chevrolet. I bought it at a farm sale. Mm-hmm. And I built it from scratch. And we put it on this pulling tractor. And he had a Predator carburetor.
Yeah, I know what those are.
Put
Big
on
square
there.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
He said, now Gallaway, this carburetor will only give the tractor as much fuel as it needs. And we ended up pulling Oklahoma City, and it wouldn't start. And I pulled the plugs out of it. He said, "What do you think's wrong with it?" And I said, "The motor is lying to the carburetor," because they were just soaked. It was flooded.
Hydrolock too, or no?
Yeah. So we got the plugs out of it, turned it over, and got it fired up, and made a pass with it.
So you were able to help him.
We went to a carburetor, a Holly, after that.
It was just dumping too much fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just washed everything down.
I remember the USA 1 had 3 of them on top of that thing.
Yeah. Everett's truck was really nice.
Yeah.
Everett is a sweet guy. Gosh, he's nice. I did a show up there one time close to and went over to his place. I went to a lot of places.
Oh, I bet.
A lot of places.
And you said you helped build a couple of tractors too?
Well, that one, but I knew where there's pulling tractors being built, and I'd go over. And when it's your life, when it's something that you love, you just go do it.
See, I think that's why you were so good at it, because you knew the equipment. It's a big difference. You know, it's like when you have a football guy that used to play football announcing or telling you about it, he can see stuff that other people can't. And you being in it, doing it, and all that stuff really helped. Especially when you would see the replay, you would say, "All right, now watch this. Here's what's going to happen." And you'd already saw it come down the track in full speed, and were able to tell us, "Now watch this left front cylinder. It's going to be puking fuel."
Never realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was just natural. That wasn't.
That's why I think you were different than all the other announcers. Because they would all ask you, "Okay, now Mike, what happened here? Remember Ken Brew?"
Yeah.
A lot of times he would ask pretty simple questions, and I don't know if he was...
He was a newsman from Ohio, sports person. Nice guy.
You keep up with him at all?
I don't see him at all.
Okay.
See and talk to Ralph Shaheen a lot.
Okay.
Great guy.
I had a couple other here that used to work with. There was Marty
Reed.
Reed.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff with him.
Brian Trevor.
Brian Trevor, yes. Brian was a bicycle racer.
Oh, really?
And here's a quick thing about Brian. He said, "Well, I don't know anything about tractor pulling." And the guys with Bud Sports said, "Look, here's all you got to do. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Trevor. This is Mike Gallaway. Now shut up."
He was good, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you keep up with any of them guys?
No, Ralph is about the only one.
Ralph
Shaheen.
Man, that sounds so... I know.
Speed Sport News.
Okay.
They do a lot of television now. And Ralph and I did several things. But I also did Mickey Thompson Off-Road.
Oh.
World of Outlaws. These are all television events.
Oh, man.
I did a World's Championship Timber Festival,
Oh, I used to
Albany,
watch that.
Oregon.
What about like, well, Indy 500 had their own guys, pretty much, right?
Who did?
Indy 500
Yeah, I didn't do that. Ralph did the Indy 500.
or Daytona, any of that kind of, any NASCAR stuff?
I did one time. We did a race in New Hampshire or someplace, and one of the Baker brothers. It was a NASCAR East race. It was Ralph and
Buddy Baker?
might have been Buddy and myself that did a race.
Oh, announcing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And it was a train race in the middle of it. I'm telling you, I never seen a train race, but
A train race? Oh, they linked them together or whatever?
yeah, tie them together. There's a driver in the front and a driver in the back, no driver in the middle.
Oh, wow.
And if it had wheels on it or made noise,
You
I
were
can
right.
talk about it.
That's so cool. So I had one guy ask me to ask you the story about, tell the story of grabbing drivers' butts to make them talk. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. They'd come up, and the first thing that they'd do is just they're all friends.
Yeah.
I mean, every one of them a friend.
And you were friends with them yet, or no? Or
Always, all the pulling people I knew.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did, the live shows, and then the TV took me to do the TV from the live.
Yeah.
And they're still friends.
Mm-hmm.
And if we had a show Friday night, we taped Saturday night, I'd go Friday night and see what was going on. And
Hang out with the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, they'd all have that, hi,
Oh.
I'm Tom. I drive that big red Ford. So if you reach over and just grab their butts, they don't care about their names, Tom or whatever. This Dr. Gallaway, and then they just relax and they'll talk to you. I did it.
How many times did you do that? A lot?
A lot. If the guy was scared, nervous.
Did you do it to anybody you didn't really know?
Sure.
Oh, you did?
Does it make any difference?
Did they say, like, what the heck, what weirdo? I'm getting out of here. Like,
Just be a nice butt.
oh man. So I could see somebody like Ken Guillen, right? Didn't really say much when you interview him and all that.
Kenneth was not a problem. Kenneth, I see Kenneth weekly. He lived up the road from me, and he was easy interviewed. Paula was easy.
Yeah.
You know, wonderful people.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's what I'm finding out from talking to a lot of people is I ask them like what they miss the most, and people say the people.
Well, yeah, it was your family.
Your family, yeah.
You had birthday parties after the show. Several times. I just tell you one quick story. No, I won't. I'll tell you 1,000 more.
I got all day if you want.
And I'd have no idea where we were. But Bud and Steve Jasky broke a motor.
Mm-hmm.
Quite unusual. So the show's over with and everybody's gone, spectator-wise. But there's 15, 20 pullers.
Helping them.
Big circle,
Yeah.
shooting a breeze. Jaskies are working and laughing. Art Arfons is there.
Yeah.
Bill Lashner's there.
Yeah.
Milt Bergman's there. Their wives, if they're with them, are there. Art's birthday, we have Dusty brings out a birthday cake. and we just have a birthday party right there.
That's cool.
It was just wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Shock for me, Dusty and her husband Randy, and Randy worked in the pulling industry.
He made tracks, I think.
Right, he built tracks. We're in Oklahoma City and drove to Chickasha and had dinner with me, lunch, and sat here at the house and talked for a couple of hours.
Oh, really?
That's just the proudest thing you could ever see.
And I hear she still has some of her tractors too. So
I don't know. Tim lives right up there by him.
yeah, in Akron.
Yeah.
We can go find out one day. We can knock on the door. So
Art was always my hero. If I ever picked a hero, it had to be him. I spoke at his induction into the International Motorsports Hall of Fame in Novi, Michigan. We taped that for television, and I spoke at that event. It was a Bud Sports Fair. Proud moment, because he super duper guy,
yeah.
really good. Met him. I did my first Grand National, NTPA Grand National in Springfield, Missouri, and Art was there. And great guy. Couldn't say enough good things about him. Wouldn't say poop if you had a mouthful of it.
And he kept going into his 80s, I think, didn't he? Pretty far.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah.
Wasn't that much older than I am.
His tractor is still around, too, I believe.
Yeah. The Walsh brothers had blown motors when I announced shows that they were. You need to go see Bill Lashner.
I know, he's on my list too.
His dad was one of my favorite people. Willie,
His dad.
Yeah.
Was he the one that would come to the pools all the time too?
Yeah.
And he got sick, or something happened to him and he couldn't come and everybody missed him.
Yeah. Little bitty guy, white-haired. He was at the pool every time Bill was there.
Yeah.
Bill had 3 injected motors at that time.
Right. Yeah, the dirt slinger.
Yeah.
That was a tough one. Tough track.
Oh, you know, he would run with you.
Yeah.
In this tractor from Weldon, Illinois.
Just about as tough comes when you get down to pulling. Bill Lashner, there's Willie, his dad, just to his left.
He almost can't get it stopped. He's going so far and so fast down the track. Bill Lashner just about takes the thing right out of the stadium here, Mike.
Bill Lashner has all the capabilities of pulling this thing from here to Weldon, Illinois, if he could afford the fuel. There's talks to his dad, Willie, about the pull itself. We're very glad to have Willie back with us now. A moment ago, there's a shot of Willie. He's got a little book that he keeps track of all the pulls and the footages. Willie's been very ill and been in the hospital. He's healed up now and back out on the circuit. He's 72 years young. Would like to say happy birthday to him. He's got a birthday coming up real soon, and he is one of the finest people in this sport.
One time we were in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Do you know Milt Bergman?
Oh yeah. I got pictures of him sitting on the front of that thing.
Milt had,
rambunctious,
at that time, an Allison and an Oldsmobile between the rear wheels and a Buick hanging off both sides. And Bob George and I are up in the tower. And Milt leaves with the sled, and at about 150 or 175 feet, the right motor breaks off and rolls out on the track. The front end crashes to the ground, knocks the front end out from under it, and Milt nails the throttle and drives it down to the end.
This is the one where he's sitting on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
And Bob looked at me and he said, if I'd known he was going to do that, I wouldn't have had to pay an exhibition vehicle. So the show's over with, and I go down there and Wilson welding the front end back on it. He said, Galloway, look here. These vice grips broke. That's why the motor come off. I'm getting new vice grips tomorrow.
So he's kind of like Art. He put stuff together and, you know, whatever he had, huh?
Milt probably is. I talked to his wife some.
Is he still around?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to go see him.
His boys pulled too.
Right. He still has, yeah.
He was on, now I didn't see this, but we went to California quite a bit, some. Milt put the tractor in a home truck, covered it with a tarp, and took off. Somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, and clutch went out.
Yeah.
Milt's not a very big person. He pulled the transmission out, welded the clutch up, put the truck back together and drove it to the show, and then went it home.
Oh, nice.
Pretty well engineering. Got out in the middle of nowhere.
All by himself?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how. He's a nice guy. Really.
I got to get a hold of him.
Yeah, they're sweetheart people. But I don't know anybody that was pulling didn't fit.
Just all nice people.
Yeah.
That's it. Everybody I've come to buy is just the best. You know, just willing to sit and tell stories.
I don't care if they had 7 blown motors or a carbureted small block. Everybody was the same. And they were all the same to me.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I treated them just the same.
Mm-hmm.
There was no difference.
All right.
When it's your turn on the track, you're the star.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
And that's one thing you said earlier was this was never about you. You always wanted to put them in the best
It wasn't
spot.
about me. I had nothing to do with it. All I was first, I got in free. Secondly, I had the best seat in the house. Thirdly, they paid me.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth thing was to entertain the people.
All stuff you love.
And if you want a recipe for being an announcer, there it is. And you love it.
And you probably didn't know that going into it. It's probably just like,
It just
hey,
all happened.
this is like getting better and better as I go, right?
Well, yeah, because I quit getting sick. I just would go do it.
Did you quit construction then?
No.
Oh, so tell about having to go.
Well, you worked.
You worked.
It was 2 years that we did, there's 48 weekends in a year, and we'd do 46 weekends on the road.
Ooh.
Depending on where Christmas fell, you wouldn't work then. And Thanksgiving, you'd do Thanksgiving here in Fort Worth on Friday and Saturday.
Which is about that's driving distance?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'd drive to Fort Worth.
Okay.
Fort Worth, Wichita, Kansas, Amarillo, Kansas City, places that you could drive to quicker than you could fly to.
2-3 hours, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, don't like to drive.
Oh, really?
Not my big thing.
When you would go to these, you went by yourself pretty much? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wife and kids to go sometimes, but you got 3 kids and she's teaching school. They go a little bit in the summer. You go down to
Your wife
White.
is a teacher?
Yeah, my wife's a retired school teacher.
Okay.
They'd go to White with me. White was in Texas, and I did it for 20 years,
We're not that far from Texas, I guess, huh?
2 hours.
So how did you, when it comes to the drivers, did you get to know them just by spending time with them? Or did you have a sheet? Did they give you a sheet with like their name, the truck name and all that? Or did you have to figure all that out yourself?
Sometimes,
Sometimes.
not very often.
No, oh really? This is like an original one?
Yeah,
I got their address, tractor model. Oh, feet pull. Okay, so it's
just a pull sheet.
yeah.
You don't go to the show an hour before it starts. You want to know anything, you go out in the afternoon, you walk around and you see what they're fixing, what they're repairing, what they're doing. You talk to them. You play with their kids. You ask the wife, how's everything going at home?
Did you take notes as you're doing that?
No.
Or all mental notes?
And I don't know how this ever happens, but I never wrote anything down.
Because when you're announcing the pulls, you would say, all right, he had to swap this motor out and he put this in, and you knew,
Yeah,
this is another part of it, you knew what was going on with that guy's truck at that pull. I'm like,
because I went,
yeah, so all that back.
but I never wrote anything down. It was all memory.
See, now when I watch him again, I want to be like looking for all this stuff.
Wished I still had that memory, but it's gone.
I hear you.
575 cubic inches of all aluminum Aries engine underneath this Dodge body. Bud is a 3-time national champion with the United States Hot Rod Association and a very strong competitor. Bud Jaske makes his home in New Berlin, Wisconsin, and he and his lovely wife run a trucking business. When Bud's not out on the road, when Bud's on the road, she takes care of the business at home. Bud Jaske is a man that can definitely make a winner here tonight.
See, I think that's why it was different, because you were in it, you loved it. If it wasn't something you loved, it would be just like a job. You gotta go do it, get paid, go home, right?
I would go today, right now, and work a show just to do it. I rode Jerry's truck. I don't remember where we were. Doesn't make any difference. This had to be when I was doing TV, because I didn't announce. It was on a Friday night. And he said, "Get in, Gallaway." So I just stepped up and got in the truck.
And they let you hop in there.
Yeah, we rode down the truck.
Is this before like helmets and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah.
So that's one question I asked the drivers. Did you ever get hurt doing this? Was anything come flying at you when something broke, or did anything happen on the track where you like almost got hit?
Well, the worst thing that probably ever happened to me, and I won't call a name,
Yeah.
but we were doing a bomb act where you go out and bring the person out and they blow things up in California. And we're going to do a countdown. It got to 3, and I was from here to that wall, and she let her explode.
Early.
I never wore earplugs because I felt like I had to hear my voice,
Oh, okay.
and it just whoops.
So it was a real deal.
Yeah,
Explosion.
yeah, but it's only about like a half stick. I was doing a show
It
for
was real dynamite.
yeah.
I thought that was a joke or something.
No, it's real dynamite.
Oh wow.
I did a show one time. I've done several of them with Orville the Human Bomb.
I haven't heard of
God, I
that.
loved Orville.
Was he at the pools?
Huh?
Was he at the pools?
No, this was mud racing. I was working for a guy out of Kansas City. And I loved Orville. And he'd take some pressed fiber wood and make a chair and then put a tarp over it and go out and sit down in the chair and blow himself up. And he'd blow him here to the street or whatever.
Never seen that.
And Orville was he had a lot of age on him. And I'd watched him for 3 or 4 weeks. I said, Orville, I can do that. All I want you to do is show me how.
Oh man.
He said, Mike, you have hemorrhoids? Well, yeah, I do. He said, they'll be hanging out your nose first time you do it. Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
You never did it.
No.
But you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
So, another time, we're doing the show in St. Louis, mud race. And this guy was a real promoter. In other words, we didn't stop. And it's raining so hard, you can't see the mud pit.
Outdoor event. Right.
Water everywhere. But if we can get 3 more in and do the bomb, then we've got a complete show.
Right.
So it was Orville's act, but Orville had taught another guy to do it. And I won't mention his name.
Okay.
And they went and got me a trash bag. And we cut a hole in the top of it. And I stood out there and worked in the rain.
Yeah.
We did the countdown, blew the guy up, and he went in the mud pit.
Oh, after he blew up, he flew into the mud pit?
Yeah. Thought he was going to drown.
Oh, man.
Oh, well. I had to go buy new shoes. They were soaking wet. They would never dry in 12 hours for the next show.
Oh, man. But that didn't happen to you, though, so that's good. Like,
Yeah.
all right, so we got to hit the Vice Grip Garage Monster Truck. What's the story with this? So the story is you and your brother built this thing, and from what I've heard from a lot of people, and you've commented, I think, that Mike Gallaway doesn't even know about this truck.
I don't have a brother.
You don't have a brother?
Narrows it down, doesn't it?
What? No way.
I don't
Okay.
have a brother. I hope he didn't pay extra because Mike Gallaway built it.
Maybe it's another Mike Gallaway or something.
There is.
Oh,
two brothers lived in North Carolina.
Same name.
Yeah, somebody took it for granted. One named Mike was an announcer, and
Okay.
just happened to be me. And it's not.
So when Derek said that, he just happened to get that information.
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
It
you
didn't
didn't build that truck. You didn't.
I've never seen that truck.
Never seen it. Okay, that narrows it down.
Was not me.
Okay.
Don't have a brother.
Well, that's going to cover that up pretty quick. So, most memorable event you got to announce?
Gosh. Big shows are memorable because they're big. There's a lot of people there. If I have a choice, I'm going to go work a 1,500 or 2,000 people show because I work one-on-one with 2,000 people.
Okay.
Because I want to look at you. I want to stand here and just look you right straight in the eye and talk to you.
The big arenas is too much.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You don't, they're about this big.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're just talking and it all works, but it's just not, you don't have that fuzzy on the inside that makes you happy. Just
From the big shows.
From the big shows, yeah.
Really?
And they look good. They sound good when you get home.
What are your best memories of doing this?
My best one,
Best memory.
the real memories of being on the road that much and doing that many shows was the people. The Alan Gaines, the Ken Ewans, the Bud and Steve Jaskies, the Milt Bergmans, the Bill Lashners, the Brummel boys. I mean, they're there. They're kin to you. It never leaves. They're still friends today.
You probably still talk to Wally.
Wally is just right the same thing. Him and his brothers and his dad, all of them, good people, come to Pulse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the Nedveds out in
Yep.
Tyndall, South Dakota. You know, it's all those people.
Yeah.
Whether you see them once or friends down in Texas, Roy Holland, Manuel Marino, all those people.
Oh, you know. So, did you have a favorite class? 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, monster trucks?
Oh, no, and I can't say that, no. I like pulling. Oh my heavens.
All of it.
I liked it all. The guy from Kansas City I talked about doing the mud races. I went and did shows for him, and he did Grand National mini rod pulls.
Yeah.
We went to Birmingham, Alabama, and gosh, I don't know how many different shows we did, and I loved them all.
No matter the class. Monster trucks, just the same?
Monster trucks are wonderful, you know, and I was there before monster trucks showed up. First time I saw Bob Chandler was in Evansville, Indiana, and him and Jim came in driving a 1-ton Winnebago with Bigfoot on the back of an old wore-out open wheel trailer. It had 33s on it, and he got it off and crab walked it around the arena. But Bob George had enough smarts to know that this was going to work.
Don Maples, a supercharged 454 Chevrolet, and he's going up against Bigfoot, the supercharged 640 cubic inch Ford motor. Heads up and hammer down. This is the race of the year right this minute as Bigfoot takes on Sampson, and it's all Bigfoot tonight. Don Maples having problems. He can't even get close, but a beautiful job. Jim Kramer takes home another win for Bigfoot.
And taking over, you know, with the publicity from Take This Job and Shove It, Rob could take the truck and make it work in a small arena. And, you know, it was fun. started out when they crushed cars, they crushed them lengthwise, and Bigfoot would crush them sideways, and you made a big deal out of that. And,
Glass flying everywhere.
I like monster trucks. They've been very fortunate, been very kind to me, but I liked them.
Well, I have one more question for you.
Okay.
So if I play a video on here, you think you got one more in you?
Oh, sure.
You want to do one?
What do you want to do? I don't
I'm just going to play one and then have you just
go with it. Huh?
go for it.
Okay.
All right, let me find one.
One time, Kansas City, Rue and I was doing an open.
I'm not completely convinced that Turlock, California exists, but I've been told that Mike Gallaway, always the man, has come prepared to show us that yes, indeed.
All these bits I
as we
figured
look
out.
in California,
Turlock, California, right there by Modesto, and right in that area, some of the finest farming in America.
where every corner has a pulling sled and every gasoline station has alcohol for the pulling trucks. We've got some great action for you tonight. We'll hope you'll stay
We were in
tuned.
Kansas City and was doing an opening just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked down and you see how much taller he is than I am.
Yeah.
Gary Saline was down there. So I get Gary Saline jack. And I pull it out in the middle of the track and I jack it up.
Yeah.
So me and Ken are looking eye to eye.
And you stood on the jack?
Yeah, I stood on the jack. And we do the open and it goes perfect. And then the cameraman slowly pulls back on the zoom.
Oh, and you could just see it?
There's Galloway standing on the jack.
I've never seen that. Where's that at?
Oh, I don't know if they ever showed it or not. Kansas City.
I'll have to look for that.
You're looking at the Kemper Arena, Kansas City, Missouri, home of the 1988 Final Four basketball playoffs. But tonight, something more powerful than that. The Greater Kansas City Ford dealers present the Budweiser U.S. Hot Rod Truck and Tractor Pull Winter Nationals. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ken Brew, my partner Mike Gallaway, and Mike tonight, not only trucks, but tractors and the big cars.
Monsters, trucks, tractors, the Budweiser boss, and the tractors are going to be very exciting tonight. Many of the triple engine, numerous engines in each of the vehicles, the V12 Allison aircraft engines, not one but a pair of those, alcohol fuel injected. Also a twin turbocharged Packard tractor. That should be very exciting. It's going to take a lot of horsepower to put it to the ground tonight, and the track, I believe, will get better as the evening goes along. It's a hard track. The traction's there. It's going to be a real tough night for pulling. These guys got to study their lesson.
The way you're talking, there's a good thing there's a roof on this place, or this building's liable to take off.
Boy, it could happen. With all the horsepower these people are putting together tonight, anything could go.
This would be a good. You want to do this one?
Oh, yeah.
Here, I'm
What
gonna
do you want me to just do like it was
Yeah, just like you're standing there, you know, like
today? Okay. Yeah, just do it.
you want. Here, we'll put a little bit of sound up.
Here's Collins, Gary Collins at El Dorado Springs, Missouri. Twin blown KBs. These are actually cast iron heads from an original Hemi. Gary's been running this truck for a long time, had a lot of bounce when it was early. He's finally figured out how to run two motors and four-wheel drives, and I promise you one thing, he gets comfortable. He puts both feet flat on the floor when he drives this truck. Probably around 3,000 horsepower, 1,500 apiece, all on alcohol. Let's watch him make a trip. Gets a good hook. It's got glued to the ground. Going to the door, tops out the sled. Goodbye.
Thank goodness for brakes. Gary Collins has driven it out the door. Oh,
That was amazing. How do you do that?
You happy?
All those years. Holy cow.
I don't know. That's the way it comes.
no-stopping performance by Gary Collins in the
Oh man, that's something I'm gonna remember forever.
How do you know when to breathe? It just happens.
It's amazing.
Against the Night Stalker.
Oh man.
We also have Mike Gallaway.
That's a great place to maybe end it up, man. I cannot thank you enough for all your time today. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad you came.
Let's get a picture together. All right, there's Mike Gallaway, everybody.
I had a good time.
Yep. All right. So, where can they come see you? At the toy show?
Oh, Last Saturday in January, Toy Show, Oklahoma.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We spent a lot of time today, so he gave me a lot.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
So
Reminiscing. It kind of brought back a lot of thoughts from the past.
it's fun. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.